Hello, everybody. This is The Home in the World by Rabindranath Tagore. Chapter 4, Bimala's Story, Part 10. My sister-in-law was absorbed in her betel nuts, the suspicion of a smile playing about her lips as if nothing untoward had happened. She was still humming the same song. "Why has your taco been called poor Kema names?" I burst out. "Indeed, the wretch! I will have her broomed out of the house. What a shame to spoil your morning out like this. As for Kema, where are the hussy's manners to go and disturb you when you're engaged? Anyhow, Chotorani, don't you worry yourself with these domestic squabbles. Leave them to me and return to your friend." How suddenly the wind in the sails of her mind veers round. This going to meet Sandeep outside seemed, in the light of the Zenana code, such an extraordinarily out-of-the-way thing to do that I went off from my own room at a loss to reply. I knew this was my sister-in-law's doing, and that she had egged her maid on to contrive this scene, but I brought myself to such an unstable poise that I dared not have my fling. Why, it's only the other day that I found I could not keep up to the last the unbending hauteur with which I had demanded from my husband the dismissal of the man Nanku. I felt suddenly abashed when the Badarani came up and said, "It's really all my fault, brother dear. We're old-fashioned folk, and I did not quite like the ways of your Sandeep Babu, so I only told the guard. But how was I to know that our Chotorani would take this as an insult? I thought it would be the other way around. Just my incorrigible silliness." The thing which seems so glorious when viewed from the heights of the country's cause looks so muddy when seen from the bottom. One begins to get angry and then feels disgusted. I shut myself into my room, sitting by the window, thinking how easy life would be if only one could keep in harmony with one's surroundings. How simply the Signorani sits in her veranda with her betel nuts, and how inaccessible to me has become my natural seat beside my daily duties. Where will it all end, I asked myself. Shall I ever recover as from a delirium and forget it all, or am I to be dragged to depths from which there can be no escape in this life? How on earth did I manage to let my good fortune escape me and spoil my life so? Every wall of this bedroom of mine, which I first entered 9 years ago as a bride, stares at me in dismay. When my husband came home after his M.A. examination, he brought for me this orchid belonging to some faraway land beyond the seas. From beneath these few little leaves sprang such a cascade of blossoms, it looked as if they were pouring forth some overturned urn of beauty. We decided together to hang it here, over this window. It flowered only that once, but we've always been in hope of its doing so once more. Curiously enough, I've been kept on watering it these days from force of habit, and it's still green. It's now 4 years since I framed a photograph of my husband in ivory and put it in the niche over there. If I happen to look that way, I have to lower my eyes. Up to last week, I used regularly to put there the flowers of my worship every morning after my bath. My husband has often chided me over this. "It shames me to see you place me on a height to which I do not belong," he said one day. "What nonsense! I'm not only ashamed, but also jealous. Just hear him. Jealous of whom, pray? Of that false me. It only shows that I'm too petty for you, and that you want some extraordinary man who can overpower you with his superiority, and so you needs must take refuge in making for yourself another me. What kind of talk?" "This kind of talk only makes me angry," said I. "What's the use of being angry with me?" he replied. "Blame your fate which allowed you no choice, but made you take me blindfold. This keeps you trying to retrieve its blunder by making me out a paragon." I felt so hurt at the bare idea that tears started to my eyes that day, and whenever I think of that now, I cannot raise my eyes to the niche. For now, there's another photograph in my jewel case. The other day, when arranging the sitting room, I brought away the double photo frame, the one in which Sandeep's portrait was next to my husband's. To this portrait I have no flowers of worship to offer, but it remains hidden away under my gems. It has all the greater fascination because it's secret. I look at it now and then with doors closed. At night I turn up the lamp and sit with it in my hand, gazing and gazing. And every night I think of burning it in the flame of the lamp, to be done with it forever. But every night I heave a sigh and smother it again in my pearls and diamonds. Wretched woman, what a wealth of love is twined round each of those jewels. Oh, why am I not dead? Sandeep had impressed it on me that hesitation is not in the nature of woman. For her, neither right nor left has any existence. She only moves forward. When the women of our country wake up, he repeatedly insisted, their voice will unmistakably confident in its utterance of the cry, I want. I want, Sandeep went on one day. This was the primal word at the root of all creation. It had no maxim to guide it, but it became fire and wrought itself into suns and stars. Its partiality is terrible, because it had a desire for man. It ruthlessly sacrificed millions of beasts for millions of years to achieve that desire. That terrible word, I want, has taken flesh and woman, and therefore men who are cowards try with all their might to keep back this primeval flood with their earthen dikes. They are afraid lest, laughing and dancing as it goes, it should wash away all the hedges and props of their pumpkin fields. Men, in every age, flatter themselves that they have secured this force within the bounds of their convenience, but it gathers and grows. Now it's calm and deep like a lake, but gradually its pressure will increase, the dikes will give way, and the force which has so long been dumb will rush forward with a roar. I want. And the words of Sandeep echo in my heartbeats like a war drum. They shame into silence all my conflicts with myself. What do I care what people may think of me? Of what value are that orchid and that niche in my bedroom? What power have they to belittle me, to put me to shame? The primal fire of creation burns in me. I felt a strong desire to snatch down the orchid and fling it out the window, to denude the niche of its picture, to lay bare and naked the unashamed spirit of destruction that raged within me. My arm was raised to do it, but a sudden pang passed through my breast. Tears started my eyes. I threw myself down and sobbed. What's the end of all this? What is the end?